You know how YouTubers are apt to do the, I know no one asked for this, but type of videos? Well, this certainly isn't one of them. In fact, everyone, including me, really wanted this video. So here it is. From what you can see behind me, there, that's from the remnant of my thumbnail, and honestly, I'm terrified to take it down.
You just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
So what we're doing today is we're going to be part 2ing from this video right here. I know I said that going back to the estate sale would be part 2, but I guess technically that's part 3, but here we are anyway. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you all of this and all of, there's a giant pile over here that I will also show you. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and dive on into the haul, and I will remind you that most of this is for sale. So if you have any questions, make sure you're emailing me at likethenorthcountry@gmail.com, because while all of this fabric, dear heavens, will not be up on my website yet, which is Backroom Finds, I will do my best to answer all of the responses via email, especially if you take a screenshot and send me the photos of what you're looking for, or just vaguely describe it. I will be selling these by the yard or by the bolt, depending on the condition of them, so that'll just be something we have a discussion about in the email. But now, the fabric. I'm ready for spooky season, aren't you? Anyway, I'm surrounded by spring colors. Let's go. So this lovely piece is actually the very first one on top. It is a striped polyester number. Why is it polyester? I don't know, other than the fact that she closed in 81. So most of the stuff I have is at bare minimum 50-50 polyester. So very few pieces are 100% cotton on this one. But this polyester terry actually feels quite soft. It's really nice. It has an interesting stripe pattern, like it's not perfectly straight across. It's very interesting. And the nice part is they are all on the original bolts, well, at least most of the time. It says this one is a high fashion original design group, 100% polyester, and there used to be 20 yards on here. Can guarantee there is not 20 yards on here anymore. I'm guessing right around 3. Oh, I'm gonna make a big mess. Next on the pile is heavy. Heavy. Oh God, it is heavy. All right. Like I said, summer colors here, friends. We have a striped pink, orange, green, and like blindingly neon colors. It is on a Kohama bolt, but it has been taped over, which was her method of like, hey, I rebolted this, so that's not what this is. Which it feels like a poly blend, probably 60-40, 65-35 blend, but it doesn't feel too stiff. I do like all the colors. I have no idea if they will show up correctly on screen because they are bright. And I honestly think there's probably at least 10 yards here, if not more. Oh yes, and if you would like to know how much I spent in total for all the fabric, the patterns, and the notions that I bought, I will be sharing that with you at the end of this video. So stay around. All right, moving on. We have got a Belding Corticelli. This one is not taped over, so I'm assuming that is correct. It says on this one, which is really interesting, the shade is gobbledygook. It says the yardage, I thought somewhere in here it said rayon. Did I not? I thought that's why I bought this. Well, it feels like a rayon blend. Let me put it that way. Whether or not I saw it or imagined it. Oh, what's that? Oh, hang on. Cute! Oh, there it is. I definitely did not see this. This says Grand Tour Belding Corticelli. It is 65% Dacron polyester and 35% Avron rayon. So that's cool. So it has a really nice, it's very soft. It's got a good drape. I will never wear this color green, and you can see why, because yike. So this one will all be for sale. I will not be keeping any of that. And the other terry cloth I found is this like blue stripy guy. Very 80s, very, very 80s. This one's been rebolted, so it's on some other bolt. So probably the same type of polyester because it has that same feel as the rainbow stripe one. I would say there's probably 5 to 7 yards on here, depending. Don't know. I'll have to unroll all of these and I'll have actual measurements as people ask for them or when I put them up for sale on my website. Now this one I saw actually in the very early photos from Eureka Monograms. And I asked her to get it for me because when you shop by photos, you have no idea. And while I love this, it is double knit polyester. And I don't know if you know this, but I live in Florida and the heat radiating off of my hands just holding this thing is uncomfortable. So I will be letting this lovely pastel rainbow double knit polyester go. I would say there's probably 3 to 4 yards. I can see a little bit of discoloration on the end of this bolt. And honestly, there's probably discoloration on the ends of most of these. As you email me, I will be happy to share which ones are discolored and try and send photos of the discoloration so you can decide if it's something you want. Because with this amount of yardage, I am selling pretty much as is, unless there's like something really terrible that I have to work on. But this one is from Cloth of Gold, double knit polyester. And it says you can wash it in warm, which is great. But yeah, it's sad because it's real cute, but I cannot do double knit poly in Florida. Oh, I would die. All right, now we get some of the fun ones. This little number is a poly crepe. So it has the crepe texture, but fully made out of polyester. So again, not the most breathable thing in the world. Its brand is Wash and Wear. It says to tumble dry, and it says 13 yards. I don't think so. I think there's probably at least 6 on here. That would be my guess. But it is very pretty. It has a beautiful brown, orange, yellow coloring, very 70s. Next up is one of my absolute favorites of the Poly Crepe Town. Look at this ombre purple feather-ish wave creation. This is another Wash and Wear. This one also, it has the coloring breakdown, but man, oh man. This one, I mean, it's still polyester, so it's still not gonna breathe, but this one feels a little bit thinner than the other one did. But most of the poly crepes are actually in a decent shape as far as thinness and wearability. They're not super thick kind, but I just love the rich color on this one. My guess would be probably about 6 to 8 yards on this one. Next up, oh, y'all asked for it. Yes, of course I got the black one with the purple flowers. Again, this is another poly crepe, so just keep that in mind. It's another Wash and Wear, so that just must have been a brand that she really enjoyed buying in bulk. I'd say, again, you're probably sitting at like 6 yards here, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending, but definitely enough for a dress. Oh, and can you imagine like an awesome, like crazy caftan or shift out of this thing? Oh, it'd be so good. It's so pretty, and all of these poly crepes actually feel quite nice. They feel really soft. All right, I'm gonna show you a couple things that aren't on the bolt, and then I guess I have to deconstruct the wall behind me because yike. All right, now this one, this cute little mustard plaid. I have no idea what the fabric content is. It feels, again, like a good poly cotton, probably 65-35, which is what most of these are. But it's just a really nice autumn color. It's that good mustard with a light yellow and a brown. There's not a whole lot of this. I'm thinking 3 yards, maybe at most for this guy, but just really nice. And it's not stiff like some of the polycottons are. That one had a really good drape to it. This thing, oh, it's so pretty. I do not know. This one feels more like cotton. Let's start there. So this amazing print definitely feels much more like cotton. It's almost like a sateen, but it doesn't have the stiffness of a polish. So it's got a really nice drape. It does have a little bit of discoloration here on the end that I can see. And like I said, I'm happy to disclose all the issues to you in the email or when I eventually list these on my website. But for now, we're just going with, look at how pretty they are. Did I absolutely, as I was building this giant wall behind me, forget that I had bought some of them and then go, oh, this is pretty, I did good. Yeah, I definitely did. I had forgotten about entire bolts of fabric because I have the memory of a gnat sometimes. All right, next up, purple paisley. There definitely is not a lot of this. I'm thinking maybe 2 yards, maybe. But it's very sweet. It's a nice purple. It's a very busy paisley, which probably bodes well for it so that it blends a little bit better. You definitely don't have to worry about pattern matching on this guy. Probably feels, again, this might actually be more cotton than the rest of them, but it does still have a touch of that blended feel to it. Next up we have this lovely light blue floral with like a stripe situation going on. This one, thankfully, they printed on the selvage, so this one actually, I can't read it, it says Corhan and Son. There is some discoloration on this piece. I just saw it and it ran away from me, but there is definitely some discoloration on this piece. It's a really nice light blue though. So I still think it would be, I think it would probably come out, and this one feels much more like a full cotton than any of the other ones yet. But know that any of these, if you buy them as is from me, which is how most of these are gonna come, they will have that kind of storage smell. So just know that a good vinegar soak or a good soak just in Biz or Restoration should knock that out. But some of these, I have one that I've already washed for myself, and it still vaguely has that smell, but it knocked it down enough that it doesn't bother me anymore. But I'm weird and don't mind vaguely old smelling clothes. Just me? Probably just me. Now we have this pretty one. This is a almost lime green with like an orangey salmon watercolor feel. It's very pretty. Again, this is going to be a blend. It feels like a cotton poly blend. There's no information on the selvage that I know, but hey, look at that. I just found a cut tag. So it's 2 3/8 yards, and it does have some rust from that staple. So be careful with use a little bit of rust remover, or I can try and get that rust out before you buy it from me, because rust is hard to get out, unless you just think that little bit you just won't use. This one is very cute. So 2 3/8 yards with this one, but very soft, has a lovely drape to this too. Now, who wants some plaid? This is like it's dying to be like a pair of 70s pants or a blazer or something. It's a pretty bright green with a pink and yellow striped plaid. It has a good feel. Again, it has a little tag. This one here says it was 4 yards. So, which I tend to believe because these are all like cut and stapled from her, but it will again have that little bit of rust on there. And it does look like it bleeds through a couple layers. So there are some rust marks on this one. But this one has a nice drape. Almost like there might be a touch of linen in here. Not sure, but I do really enjoy this one as well. I should stop saying that because I will say that this entire video because I enjoy all of them or I wouldn't have bought them. Stephanie. Moving along. So this one is almost Hawaiian-ish fabric. It's really not. It's just like it harkens to the floral aspect. This definitely feels like it's a better cotton ratio though, so probably 50-50 or less of polyester, which is always nice. I enjoy like the kind of taupe tones. I, again, as you can tell, could not wear this if I wanted to because nope. But it drapes really nicely. I do not see a little cut tag on this one, but that doesn't mean it's not there. I also haven't looked terribly hard. But this one probably feels more like 4 yards, so probably could get a decent like muumuu or just really nice flowing dress out of that one. Next up we have stupidly bright fabric, which I always love. So this one's a nice bright pink green floral mixture. This one's a little bit stiffer. It does have that rust mark from the staple that I see. It says 3 1/4 yards, but it was $7.78. So that makes me think that my question of whether or not this is linen is probably higher because I did actually find some linen in hers. Can you see it? No, it's like way down. It's like just out of sight. There's a bolt of yellow lemon. I mean, lemon yellow linen. Lemon yellow linen. Say that 3 times fast. Lemon yellow linen. Lemon yellow linen. Yeah, lemon yellow. I cannot. But so I think that this might actually be a linen as opposed to a cotton. But man, it's so pretty with all the bright colors. Oh, that cut pile was such a good pile because it is the one and only border print that I found. Now, I know it's a white background, so not a whole lot of people are going to be super excited, but just look at how tall the fabric goes. Look at how tall those flowers are. So I think this would actually make a really nice, like, panel skirt because these all go up so high. And you'd probably be able to get out some of the, like, light brown marks that are through here. But this definitely, it feels like a cotton, probably 50-50 or less of polyester in this one. So it's got a really nice drape to it. And I like the coloring. It's very sweet with its yellows and blues and goes all the way up. And now, if you've seen the thumbnail to this video, this is what I found in that moment. Kitty cats! I did. I found it in that box, buried in the trailer. It is so stinking cute with the little kitty cats. It looks vaguely reminiscent of some artist, and I, for the life of me, don't remember what it is. But there's no signature that I can see, and there's nothing on the selvage. So with all of that information just not there, I'm just guessing. But I just love it. It's got little birds in there, the little red birds and the little kitty cats. This is definitely a poly cotton blend. It's a little bit stiffer, but I think with a wash, you would still be able to get some of the softness out of it. And probably like 2.5 yards, maybe 3. Oh no. I have to deal with that now. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna deconstruct this thing and I'll be back.
Much later.
I know it looks no different to you, but I do now have a table full of fabric again. All right, this is a super cute fabric. It confuses me a little though, because I picked it up because it's this gorgeous, like really deep Kelly green plaid with red and purple and blue. And on the end, it does say 100% cotton. But what I find interesting, that it's kind of like sheer and very loosely woven. Very loosely woven. So I think it would definitely need to be lined. There's also not a whole super lot of it. Like maybe 1.5 yards or 2. Maybe 3. I don't know. I'm really bad about judging on bolts. I'm better at like lifting a piece of fabric, not, oh, how many times does it wrap? I don't know. I've never worked in a fabric shop, believe it or not. Then we have this, which unfortunately is not a Pima-filled broadcloth, but it does have age spots, so be advised. And on some of these pieces with the age spots, if you don't feel confident in your ability to carefully get them out, I'm happy to give it a go. So you just have to let me know in those emails if you would like me to do that before I send it to you. So as much as I would like to say this is Lowenstein's Pima-filled broadcloth, it definitely is not, but it definitely feels like cotton for this one. But this whole thing has like an age mark, but mercy, just look at the thistles and flowers that I don't know the name of, but they're just so pretty. I have this grand desire to save the vintage and find it new homes, and sometimes that gives me a lot of work to do. All right. Oh, this one is so pretty. Again, a white background, but it's a nice floral with lots of really large leaves. The orange floral and the yellow floral and the red floral all are very pretty. Again, on a bolt that has things that are crossed off because it says sheath lining 100% acetate, which this is definitely not. This is some kind of type of cotton poly blend. I can feel the poly, especially when I rub it together. Like that feels something in like 65-35 is my guess. But hopefully that also means that the colors won't bleed like the devil. Sorry, I thought of the devil from Rachel's video last Friday. Never mind. I hope you all watched that. I'm sure you did. If you know me, you probably watch Rachel. All right. Also, these are dusty. Just a heads up. There is downside to old bolts. I don't know why I completely undid that, but I did apparently. I should probably put it back on there. So old bolts obviously have lots of old cardboard. And what does old cardboard have? Acid. Acid! That's right, because you've heard me talk about that on all of the pattern videos. So unfortunately, the acid leaching onto pattern pieces also happens fabric with the old cardboard. So this one is a Kloffman fabric. This does look like it probably is this because it says Mirage with finest flocking, 65% poly, and 35% combed cotton. Prissy Pink White. That's a choice name. And this one I will say, definitely, it's not in the best of shape. Like, she's a little brown, she's a little discolored, she has some weird lines. Yeah, she definitely has gotten some of that cardboard leach happening. And there's probably 2 yards of that, but that'll be a very cheap fabric because it's not in great shape. Now we're going to move on to some more flocked Swiss dot. Again, which does not look terribly great. It has the same content here on the end, 65% poly, 35% cotton. And again, you can see like big old age lines. So this is another one of those that you should probably soak before you use it. Thankfully, once you get past the first turn, there's still some discoloration, but it's not as bad. So this would probably be a little bit safer. I don't think I could safely tell you to use this in like a maxi dress and use a whole panel, unless you're just going to tie-dye the whole thing or dye it a different color. Which, I mean, I guess you could, maybe. But because it still feels structurally fine, like I don't feel any dry rot. The flocking is in really great shape, but it will have irregularities if you just want to use the blue. And it is supposed to be a light blue with a white dot, I think, originally. Let's see. What does the inside say? Yeah, probably, well, it looked like more like a cream dot, not necessarily super crisp white. Well, that's disgusting. That bolt has rotted from the inside out. Cute. So I'm just gonna actually, unfortunately, throw this whole thing away because that is mold, that is not mildew. So I should not have bought this. Fun fact. Learn from my mistakes, friends.
So I make mistakes all the time.
Oh, good, and it's all over the floor. Moving on to lighter notes. This amazing fabric. I cannot describe how happy I was when I found it. I also cannot say that I am willing to let it go yet. So this might be one that I may not be able to let go. But this black with brown roses. Look at how pretty that is. Now this one is done by Pilkey & Sons. Spilkey & Sons. I don't know if that's supposed to be an S or a P. Textiles. Fantastic's hand-screened print, 36 inches wide. Hand-screened in Japan. And it's just so pretty, y'all. I can't. I don't think there's any way in any reality that I can let this go. Because it's just, it's me. It's black and spoopy and a little bit of autumn. Yeah, I don't think I can let that go. Because there's probably only about 6 yards of this, so probably just enough for one of my dresses. So I'm terribly sorry, friends. This is just a sharing. Now, the only upside to that previous fabric that was real rough is that this one is pretty similar. Look how pretty. And this one's bolt isn't completely rotted on the inside. So this is an Elias J. Schwarzschild fabric, Lancashire lawn. So this is 100% combed cotton. And I will completely agree. This feels like combed cotton. This doesn't feel like it was rebolted at all. But the blues and the greens just model together so nicely on this. And I would say there's safely 6, 8, maybe more yards on here. But man, it's just so pretty. All right, now this one is one that makes me happy and makes me sad at the same time. This is a cute little light blue. It's got flowers. It's got hearts. It's a light blue. It makes my heart happy. And then I unrolled it a little. That discoloration goes through the entire piece of fabric. So every 6 inches or so, there is a giant light line from either poor storage or the bolt. I don't know, but it broke my heart when I saw it. So I mean, I will sell this one if you really want it. I don't know how you would work around that other than just using little pieces and scraps to add into things. It does say on the end here, it is 80% poly, 20% comb cotton, which I do believe that is how this feels. And it says a Burlington Klopman fabric. It made me happy, it made me sad.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, and here's another to the town of I don't know if I can get rid of this. Look at the plaid. It's so pink and pretty. I want to say they're about a 1/2 inch square, maybe a little bit smaller, maybe 3/8 inch square plaids. Just so beautiful. It's on a bolt that says JM fabric. Content is some type of polyester. This might have been rebolted. Oh, no, this is definitely not that fabric. 100% polyester suede. Ha ha! Nope. So this got rebolted at some point. So not a JM fabric, but man, it's nice. It's probably still some type of poly blend because there's a little bit of that ASMR polyester scratching situation. But I do really like that one too. I don't know, it's not quite enough for me. It's like probably only about 3 yards. So I don't know if I'll keep that one, but it's there, it's pretty. And here we have another polyester crepe. Look at all those colors. Man, oh man. This is really nice and bright. It's probably only about 2.5, 3 yards. There's not a whole lot there. On the end it says Dan River Permanent Press, poly cotton. So this one's been rebolted because there is no way. This is poly crepe. 100% this is poly crepe. I am positive of that. But the colors of like the pink and the purple and the green on this are just chef's kiss. Here we have another Super Vino Permanent Press. 80% polyester, 20% combed cotton. This is a Klopman pre-shrunk. And yeah, I would definitely agree with that. But just look at this stylization. I love the stylization so much. It is so pretty with the flowers and the branches and the leaves, all in these really good autumn colors, which I can never wear. So yes, I will be selling this. This has never been my color palette, but I know it is definitely some people's, so this one's for you. I'm thinking, again, probably 3 yards on this, maybe a little more. I don't know. There might be a little more on here, but it is truly a beautiful fabric. Now we move on to yet another giant bolt of friggin' Swiss dot. Yeah, there's a lot of fabric on there. All right, so on the end, we are on a bolt that says Klopman Fabric by Burlington. Flocked with cream plus, I would agree with that. Red floral, red flourish / white. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Oh yeah, absolutely, look at that. Definitely red. And this one looks to be in better shape than some of the other flocked, which is nice. Because some of the flocks are in really bad shape, but this one actually, like, there's some age dots. I'm not gonna lie, there's a couple of age dots as we go through. This actually is one of the better bolts. It's not really sheer. Like, it's like semi-sheer. You can sort of see through it, sort of not. So it's not a terribly sheer fabric, which is sometimes nice, sometimes not, depending on what you want. All right, more fabric.
Much later.
Another thing to know is I will not be mailing this to you on the bolts. I will be sending you a photo of the end of the bolt, and I will be taking it off the bolt because you don't want this cardboard. As a matter of fact, as soon as I get these photos, I'm going to be taking all this cardboard off so it stops leaching into the fabric. Because no, we don't want that. All right, moving on. Apps.co fabric. Let's see, washable, 100% cotton, made in Japan. Something I can't read. This might be actually what it was supposed to be. But this is a really nice seersucker. But oh my gosh, just look at these colors. They're just spectacular. This one actually has, like, there's a little bit of dinge here along the end. You might have a little dirt line along the fold too, but it's not gonna be bad. This one is just so soft. It was actually, this is one of the ones, I actually, in hunting for this fabric, I may or may not have popped a seam on my dress and said I didn't care because this was one of the ones I was reaching for. So you might have broke my other dress, well, momentarily, but by golly, you were worth it. This is a really nice, I do believe that it is cotton. It's very soft. This would make this would just make lots of things that are really great. Probably 3, maybe 4 yards at the outside, maybe 5. Next up, we have a polyester that I didn't think I would grab, but by God, look at this orange. Look how good it is. I did grab this one with the intention of using it in a project, actually for this coming Halloween spoopy season. So I don't know yet if it's gonna work though for it, but I'm gonna hang on to it until I'm done with that project. But for now, it says Satinessa, 100% texturized Dacron polyester. Machine washable, bright orange, and I will agree, that is a bright orange. But I do like it, it's nice. It is a little thicker, so it is more like a satin, which I don't know if that'll work for me, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And no matter how much I love you all, this is mine. I just had to put that out there. I've never been happier to pull a bolt of fabric off of a table before. This is the most glorious Halloween plaid I have ever laid eyes on. And so no, I will not be selling this. This is mine. I have decided, and I have it says on the end like Gaily and Lord, it's been taped over, so I have no idea. But it feels like a cotton. It could possibly be like extraordinarily, like it could be a cotton wool blend. I don't know, but by God, this is good. My husband's like, it looks like a lumberjack had that. And I'm like, I don't care. I'll be a lumberjack in this. It's so pretty. Okay, now we have, why is this on a bolt? I don't know. On the end it says, Klopman Mirage with flocking, white glacier. It is not a glacier anymore, friends. It's more like a glacier that has melted into the sea because there is yellowing everywhere on this piece. It's supposed to have light blue flock dots. And it does. I mean, they're still there. The flocking is actually still all right. It's just the fact that it got leached into by the cardboard over the years, and it's all basically yellowed. So it's not in great shape. I might try and clean that one up, but it's not in great shape. Here, we have a little, it's confusing is what it is to me. In my world, this is Dimity, but then I mean, it is dimity, but it's not. Like, it's very sheer, but it doesn't have the ribbing that I'm used to seeing with dimity. At a certain point with fabrics, I just go, it's pretty, I'm buying it. On the end, it says Belding Corticelli, which I do kind of agree with. That this would feel like one of theirs. There is no real good information, though. So between the selvage and everything, it does have a little yellowing from the ages, but it is a very pretty sheer. This is sheer. Sheer. It's kind of like a cream color with the blue and the pink flowers. It's very nice, though. So I think if somebody were to take the time to soak this in restoration, I think it would come back quite lovely. Let's talk about novelty prints, because I did find one. I mean, I'm sure you saw it in the big overall shot. Anyone want some burbs? Burbs, anyone? Trashy Diva friends in the audience, maybe? I don't know. No? Okay, never mind. She had a parrot print. That's right. I mean, it's sheer as all get out. Don't get me, like, it's sheer. But it's so cute. Giant parrots. On the end, it says Hazy Days, a Logan Tex fabric. 65 polyester, 35% cotton. Oh, wait. It's got a tip. Oh, it is well, there you go. It is a Logan Tex. There you go. So I guess that is correct. So 65% polyester, 30 cotton. I would say probably 5 to 6 yards on this one. I won't be keeping this because I don't need giant burbs. So if anyone needs birds, let me know. Burbs! All right. We now have a stack of Swiss dot. First up, very yellowed green Swiss dot that does feel sheer. Again, possibly restorable. Unclear because I haven't really tried to restore any of these. It's on a bolt that says Rosewood Fabrics with no further information, so there's no real way for me to confirm or deny if that is what this is. But it is a lime green with darker green flocked dots on it. Could possibly be saved, probably only about a yard. Next up we have another Klopman fabric by Burlington. And this one is white water green. So it has, again, 65% poly, 35% cotton. And this one's actually an okay shape. Like, this one's actually not too bad. All the winter green, whatever they call it, it's still very green. And it doesn't look like the bolt has yellowed too much. It does look like there might be a little bit of yellowing here on the fold line. But my goodness, there's probably 6-8 yards on here. So much fabric available here. Now we get into the ones of why did I buy you? It's because it's pink and it's flock dot and I figured I could save it, and then I got it in the car and I realized I probably shouldn't buy this, but I bought it anyway. It's got some issues. This is very polyester, extraordinarily polyester. Just feels like yeah. So this is called Diana Dots, Dacron polyester, as I called, and it's on pink. It's supposed to have, I think they're supposed to be white dots, but I'm sure at some point they were white. Unless I get to the middle of the bolts, they look more cream now. So if you want white with cream flock dots and you want little pieces, this is probably for you. We have another pink creamy flock dot that, now on this bolt we have, this is another Burlington Klopman flocked dot. Flocked Whip Cream Plus. I think it's because it's on like a poly crepe material this go around, that they call it a whipped cream fabric. It does have some yellowing definitely along the edges there. Let me see how the flocks are doing. The flocks! Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, those actually look white still. Still pretty. Does have a couple of age marks, but not too bad. But it's the interesting polyester. Like, this is the same like poly crepe, but with flocks on it. So that's kind of cool. Next up we have, oh, this one's pretty. Look at that. Rich blue with red flock dots. This is another Klopman fabric. It says navy with red. At one point there were 24 yards. Can guarantee there are not 24 yards anymore. Thinking 4, 5, maybe. But this one actually feels, this is one of the ones that's like in a really good shape. So it's not a bad flock dot. So this one is one I would probably just sell straight out. Might have a couple age spots, but it's not going to be the end of the world. All right, next up, blue seersucker. And this one has some age all the way through it. It is from Kohama, if we are to believe the end here, which I do. It says Picante Seersucker, 65% Dacron, and then some gobbledygook that I can't read. And then it says some part of cotton at that point. But there are age dots along this entire thing. There's aging on the end. So there's probably about 6 yards here total. If you want a project to attempt to get it clean, This would be one of the ones that I'd be willing to sell for less than I would the rest of them because this is going to take work. And then if no one wants to buy it as is, then I will work on it myself. This one is definitely a little bit stiffer than the rest of them, but it's not so stiff that it's not going to drape nicely. All right, next up, something with tape on the end of it, so I don't know. But I do know it's blue and green plaid, and it's pretty. This one feels like another lovely, probably woven cotton, maybe with a little bit of polyester, not too terribly much. I do really enjoy, this is the larger format plaid, so this is really nice. I do see a little bit of aging here toward the end of the bolt, and I'm thinking there's 3 yards, maybe 4 on here. But it does have a nice drape. It has a weird little cutout right here. But that doesn't really harm the rest of the fabric. But man, that one is nice. I am not allowed to keep all the fabric. Oh, then you have this piece, and it's so pretty. And I really like it. But look at that 1-inch stripe. Look at all the coloring. Oh, it's so pretty. It'd make a really nice patio dress. It'd make a really nice sunsuit, or just like a regular dress, but man alive, this is so pretty. The bolt it's on says Rollmar Fabrics 100% cotton, which I do believe this one does feel like cotton. It has a slightly stiffer texture, but you can see the weave, which is kind of cool. And it's woven the same on both sides. So even, I mean, there's like vague differences from one side to the other, but not enough that you're really gonna notice. All right, some more fabric.
Much, much, much later.
Speaking of plaids, look at this one. This one is a blue and green plaid as well, but it has an orange stripe that runs along through it. This one feels a little bit rougher in texture than the previous one, but it does have a nice little tag. Let's see what it says here. Oh, it says, as is. Why do you say as is? And that's in Ruth's handwriting, so that as is tag has been there for a long time. So it's definitely not Irish poplin, which I was kind of hoping for, but next up we have a definite rebolt. This one, because like you can see on the end here, they have scribbled through it with pen. This is such a beautiful pink and purple floral. I do love the way that it looks. It is definitely that poly cotton blend, so like 65-35 or higher. It's got a little bit of the slickness to it, but I do just sort of love it. There is some aging here on the end. You can definitely see there. I'd say there's probably 3 yards on here, be my guess. This one actually is nice and soft too, so it would make a really nice summer blouse, spring blouse. I know, I understand we're going into fall, but I live in Florida and these are the colors that people ask me for, so it's the colors I buy. Let's move on to another Kohama, which this one is going to be 100% Arnell triacetate. And lots of words that I don't. It says little or no ironing machine washable. Style 1966. So it's sort of like a seersucker, but not. You can kind of see here on the selvage actually really clearly that where the seersucker press would have been. There's a word for that. Maybe I'll think of it. But you can see here on the polyester that because it's not the selvage, like it doesn't take the printed in texture nearly as well. But I like it. There is some age lines, especially along both edges and along this like tail that was just to the elements for many years. And I'd say there's probably about 6 or so yards on there. Here we have another seersucker plissé. There she is. There's that word. Plissé. Look at these colors. Look at how beautiful those are. This feels like another 100% cotton. It's on a bolt that says Apsco fabric. It does not give any content on here. And I'm wondering, it looks like it might have been rebolted because they scribbled out the word hand washable. So it could be rebolted, but it does have that same feel as the other seersucker plissé that we found. I just love the large format flowers on here. And there's probably 3-4 yards. And now's the time to poll the audience. Who loves mushrooms? I do. Me. That's what I thought, because boy do I have fabric for you. Mushroom print fabric. Now this one, while it is technically a novelty print, still sort of falls into like the almost floral, because when you open it up, yeah, there are absolutely very clear mushrooms on here. 100% there are mushrooms on this fabric, but they're creamer color, so they blend in a little more. You can see all the cross stitch hatching. So this would either make it A, super easy to make it actual cross stitch, or B, just use it as is. So on the end here it says Burlington Klopman Ultra Vino Poly Cotton. So it's 80/20, which I do believe that is how it feels as well. A little bit slick. It says 23 yards or 21 meters, but definitely not. That's not how many. I'm thinking like most there's 10 on here. I'm gonna die from the dust. I think at most there's 10 on here. Okay, I'm gonna go get some water.
A few moments later.
All right, now I'm not gonna die. All right, moving on swiftly. We have this lovely, again, not clear if I can get rid of this because look at how good that looks with my coloring, y'all. She's so good. She's a pink, green, blue, purple, lavendery thing. I don't know, it's gorgeous. It is definitely 100% cotton. On the end, it says another Lowenstein fashion fabric. It says Northampton, 100% cotton, crease resistant, which I would actually tend to agree because this one, despite being crammed into the back there, like she's all right. She's not bad. I probably only have about 4 yards, so I don't know. I'd have to be creative, but I don't know if I'll be able to let this one go either. Now, giant bolt of florals, you say? Yes, I do have those. This is on a bolt that says of cloth of gold, voile, 65% polyester, 35% cotton. I absolutely do believe in that because wee, she's sheer. But I do like the little pink and red flowers, but yes, she is extraordinarily sheer. There is some aging you can see here on the end, a little bit of yellowing, but mercy, there's probably, again, I'm thinking like 10 yards on here. There's a lot of fabric. Oh, and don't worry, I haven't forgot. I'll tell you the total at the end. Oh, this one. Can we just marvel at the colors on this thing? It's so crazy. On the end here we say 100% acrylic, Splendora prints, crease resistant finish. Now, what's interesting is this feels like a, not quite a double knit, but it definitely has that knit feel to it, but the vintage knits. So it's not super soft, it's not like a t-shirt material, but I think it would wear really nicely as it goes through. It is a little sheer by itself, but it has a decent drape. It's a little stiff at the beginning, but I think if you were to wash it, it would release really well. No super duper age spots that I can see, and probably 5 or 6 yards. And this, unfortunately, was something I found on more than one bolt. I thought I had them cut them all away. Oh, you're so heavy. Giant rust stains. So unfortunately, there are definitely some pieces that we just had to cut and toss because the rust stains were just too bad. Like they physically ate through the fabric. You can't fix that. But the underneath at a certain point is still good. And there goes my battery. You went from half to empty, my dude. Not helpful. All right, I'll finish this. On the end, it says Wamsuda Super Wampose print, 50% Avril, 50% cotton, mercerized. Bye.
I'm back, baby!
But overall, I love the black and brown on this one, and I think there is probably about 10 yards, maybe more on here, but I don't know how bad it will be when I have to cut it away. Second to last fabric that I know is just for me, because it's time to make that 1910 skirt that I found and showed you in December that I haven't dealt with yet. But we're just gonna pretend like that didn't happen, and hey, look at this pretty blue fabric that I found for it finally. This is by Micheline. It's a 50% rayon, 50% acetate. So that means I can actually hand wash it, which is good. It says Abbey flannel, so it'll be interesting. It's a really nice mottled blue color though, and it's still very supple. So I really enjoy it, and I think it will lay really nicely with that skirt, even though I don't actually know what I'm doing with that pattern, but we shall see how that goes. And as promised, there will still be a sew along for that. It'll probably be, I don't know when it will be when I finally get the gumption to do that. But the pattern is available on my website in a fully hand-traced and printed out copy for you. I am still working on the digital copy for those that asked for it digitally. It's just not there yet. So it is working. I have not forgotten about you. Promise. Next up, we have this beautiful calico floral. Look at this. Cute little pink and yellow flowers, nice green vines. On the end here, it says Spring Made Tremode. 65% polyester, 35% comb cotton. And you can see just like it drapes really nicely. You can see here, wee, so nice. This would be a really nice like prairie dress or just like a nice blouse to go with your cottagecore aesthetic. And I probably have 6 yards, maybe a little more. This one is puzzling. It's very interesting because the orange dots are all fully woven in, sort of in a lino weave, sort of not. You can see here on the backside, it's almost more interesting on the backside because everything's super fluffy. Like, they're all just real fluffy. Like, that's almost more interesting than the polka dotted side. The bolt that it's on is not really a bolt. It looks like a pre-sub press board, so that's not super helpful. So I have no information about this. I'd say there's probably 3 yards here. There is definitely some age lines along here. So it is going to take a little bit of cleaning up. And it looks like the internal yardage is going to be almost not worth it because it looks pretty dark compared to the outer, which actually in this case looks much better. All right, now a tie for that pink plaid at the very beginning comes the blue plaid. Like, just look at how good that is. It's such a good coloring for me. But I'm not allowed to keep it all. It says Roliad linen by Rolmar Fabrics, 79% rayon, 21% cotton. I don't know if I believe that. It doesn't, I mean, it's not scribbled. Wait, hang on, what'd she write here? Lemon peel. So this definitely is not the right one. Nope. So this probably is just poly cotton. I'm thinking there's maybe 3 yards on here. There's a little bit of age lines, as always, along the edges. But nothing terrible on this guy. Just very lovely drapey blue plaid. All right, moving on. This one is very similar to the previous white with pink floral. It might be the same fabric. Cloth of gold, fine fabrics. At one point there was 20 yards on here. Not anymore, but there might be like 10 or 12. There's a lot. 65 poly, 35% cotton. Again, that same, but it's not quite as sheer as the last one. So it might just be a friend to it or what is it? Sisters, not twins? So maybe it's just a sister fabric to that sheer, super sheer one from earlier. Nothing super damaging on that one other than the little age lines around the edges. And then we have Rainbow Friend. This one was intriguing because it's like a rainbow and then it's got little stripy bits in it. It's very interesting. Again, says Irish poplin, Dacron, and cotton. Not sure. This one might actually be it. It says sage, which this is definitely not sage, so this has just been rebolted, so ignore me. But it's really nice. It's got a little bit of ribbing. It does sort of act like a knit, kind of. But I do like the coloring on this. All the colors are really bright. You probably have maybe 2.5 yards on here. So at least a little bit to do like a fun blouse with or maybe a kiddo dress. Oh, and then this one. Oh man, how pretty. Just look at that cream and yellow flowers. She definitely has some age lines, both on the end and on the fold, but it's a rayon cotton blend because it says mini prints pre-shrunk and it says 36 to 37 inches. So I do tend to believe that this is how this was originally. It's definitely going to need a soak to bring some of that brightness back and dim down the edges, as it were. And there's probably maybe 4 yards on here. But that one has a really nice drape too. All right, and then a sister to our other stripy friend, we have the green stripy friend. This one's like a hunter green with like an almost autumn colored stripe in there, and it's kind of like a gradient. It's very, like you can just see on camera, it's a very pretty green. Let's see on the end of this one. It says nothing, so that's not helpful. I'm thinking there's 3, maybe 4 yards on here, but this would just be the best fall outfit, whether you're going to do a blazer or a dress. It does feel like there's some poly in there, so I don't know the exact content of it, but that is a very nice fabric. Oh, this one. I loved this one so, and it wasn't until I got home that I realized that this one, I mean, the farther you get into the bolt, the better it gets, but she got issues. She's yellow. She's got some serious yellowing. But this is the most precious gingham. Yes, it's embroidered with tiny little florals, and absolutely that is why I grabbed it. The end of the bolt really has no information for us. It does feel like a thinner width, and you can definitely still see the yellowing here along the center. But my goodness, just how pretty is that black and white? Oh my gosh. Speaking of chef's kiss, except it got bled on at some point, so there's a little bit of yellow on there. Let's talk about some more seersucker. This is a lovely seersucker stripe with a floral going around the middle, with like the seersucker being in between each stripe of floral. There is some serious yellowing on the end. Like I think it was next to one of the yellow fabrics when I moved it, so I'm guessing that this is a dye bleed, so I don't think this will come out quite as easily. But it is really nice. I think once you get away from that, or maybe you cut on toward the center of the piece and not on the selvage side, I think you could still do a lot with this. And there's still probably about 4 or 5 yards on here, but you can see, especially in the end here, like, yeah, tasty dye bleed, gross. But it does feel like a really nice light cotton would drape really well, especially in like a cottagecore style blouse or even like a jumper dress, if there's enough around all the dye bleeding to make it work. Now we go into the pink. This is a pink lino weave that has little tiny flowers in it. Again, it's on a piece of press board, so I'm gonna have no information about it. It does feel like it's a blend. Like there's a little bit of stiffness, a little bit of polyester crunch. Polyester crunch. But I like how the stripes are. It's definitely gonna be a thinner width, so you're looking at probably 36 inches on this one. And there's definitely some age line along the middle and along the edge there. Next up, oh, we finally have a maker mark on a selvage. It's like this, only the second one I've seen. This one says Ray Crest Reg, which is this lovely like floral print on white. But you can see here, like the drape is really nice throughout here. And I just kind of love the crispness of these flowers. There's something just so beautiful about how they look. I just had to grab it.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Last of the stack, friends. All right, next up we have another poly crepe. Oh, sorry, you're just gonna see that, it's gonna be fine. So this one is a purple with a paisley on it. Bam! And the coloring is even better on the right side of the fabric, Stephanie. But you can see here just how amazingly bright all these colors still are with the purples and the blues. This one, there's a lot of, because like as I got to the bottom ones here, these are all the ones that have at least 10, if not more yards, because they were all so full. Like, look at that. That is a lot of fabric. So this is another lovely slinky polyester crepe. I don't see many age spots on these. You might need to just watch it a little, but the upside is poly crepe, as it did not take any of that aging. It took it like a champ. All right. And the one and only guaranteed linen that I found is this dude. This is 100% linen, like 1000%. The texture is correct. Everything is lovely about it. It says Aranor Irish linen, but just look at this amazing vintage linen. This is the one that I think it was probably next to, because it's the same color yellow on that seersucker. So I think I found them together. But, and it has a little bit of the storage smell, but I feel like it'll come out because it's a natural fiber, and if you wear it enough, but my goodness, this is such delicious linen. And to know that it's from the 60s or the 70s, like at most it's the 80s. I know it's not the good, true vintage linen, but this is still better even than some of what we have now. Personally, but that's just because I prefer vintage things. You're allowed to buy new fabric. It's not the end of the world. This is new fabric. Okay, I'm gonna stop backpedaling now. More fabric! This bad boy is autumn plaid gone wild. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know what I'm doing. But this is the most amazing, like brown and black, yellow, mustard plaid. And my God, is there a lot of it. Because this is still very tightly woven on the Galian Lord, so there is no way this was rebolted. This is so well done. It says on here 50% polyester, 50% Dacron, no or little ironing, and it says 1% residual shrink. But this one could be an entire family's worth of fabric. If you want to make an entire matching family outfit, this is your bolt. Now we have yet another Kohama Victoire print. This one on here says 100% acrylic, so we're not going to the polyester this time. This is an acrylic print, but just look, it's like that acrylic bark cloth style. Look at the coloring on this. Oh my goodness, it's just amazing. All the florals, everything. This would make an amazing like muumuu, or Even just like a fitted dress from the 60s, a sheath dress. Oh, it'd be so lovely. There is probably easily 10 yards on this one. And now for the world's biggest bolt of seersucker. Literally, I want to say this is probably 20 yards of seersucker because I don't think they used much of any of this. It is a pink seersucker. It's like a nice pastel pink. There's some aging along the edges here and here. But overall, she's in much better shape than her blue counterpart. Let's see what the bolt says here. It says Kohama. Yep, piquant seersucker, 65% polyester, machine washable. And yeah, you can see there's definitely some aging along through there, but it's not going to be that bad. And mercy, I've got a ton of it. All right, we have more autumn goodness. We have a Klopman fabric. Again, that is wound so tight. This is done from the original factory. There's no way this was rebolted. On the end, it says Klopman Royal Mirage with the finest flocking. I'm sorry, what? Oh my God, I'm gonna die. That's flocked.
I kind of think that I'm
Holy crap. Oh my God. I just thought it was floral, y'all. That's flocked material. That is a chocolate brown flocked material. Take my biscuit and call me Sally. What the heck? Oh my God. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, flocked fabric has had a resurgence. I think we missed the peak. The peak was like last year and like pure lockdown. Like people were paying hundreds of dollars a yard for certain flocked material. Now, is this that material? No, it is not. But I just thought this was a lovely cotton, autumn, floral deliciousness. I had no idea it's flocked, which to me means that this entire bolt of fabric is thankfully worth much more than when it wasn't. Because florals like this, in case you're a seller or just are curious, these don't merit a whole lot if they're by themselves. So if they're not flocked, they're just printed on there. They're very cute, but they're not gonna merit as top dollar as this one will. So that makes me extraordinarily happy. Well, there you go, friends. We learned something together. There is probably 15 yards of this. That makes me very happy. Well, it says 26 yards originally, but it's out of the plastic, so... But if it's 26 yards, hot diggity, I'll take it. But it does say that it is 65% polyester, now that we're getting back to the real track here, and 35% combed cotton. So it does have that nice, lovely drape as well. Holy crap. Okay, that's... Wow. Well, keeping going, 'cause we are almost done, I promise. Now we have this amazing poly crepe. Which again, not something I ever thought I'd say, ever. Amazing poly crepe, but come on, look at the green and the blue. Look at that! It's so pretty. And the nice thing is that we know these age well because, hi, these all sat in a warehouse for 40 years and they're still here in good shape. It drapes well. Originally there were 26 yards on here, but I'd say we at least have 15, 18 on here. Same as the last one. Belting Corticelli this go around. Did I use this as the backdrop in the last video for some shots? Yeah, I sure did. Who wouldn't? Look at this. Look at this ridiculous purple poly crepe. Floral 60s realness. Oh my God, like, or 70s realness. This is 70s realness. But just look at that. It's so good. Again, this one is a poly crepe. It doesn't have any more information, but it does have a really nice drape to it. Another really just spectacular out of the park print that she picked up. Probably maybe 8 yards on this one, maybe a little more. And this one, I need to cut off a couple yards for myself so I can use it. Because yes, it is acrylic, but that does not stop it from being freaking fabulous. Look at this thing. And this is a woven, so it's sort of the same on either side, I think. Oh no, this is the right side. Check out these florals. Look at those roses, just like to die for level of fabric. Look at that. On the end here, it says a Splendora print. Oh, it was on special at some point. Well, I'm glad it didn't sell because I want it and it's pretty and I get to keep some. But there's plenty to share on this bolt. My God, so much fabric. But yeah, it just says crease resistant and machine washable. So that's good. Most of these are gonna be machine washable, so you won't have to worry about once you make it, can I wash it? We already know that answer. Huzzah! All right, now, do we think this is Irish poplin? Probably not. Do we think it's beautiful? Yes, yes we do. This one is more of a geometric print though, with the purples and the teals and the greens. I wanna say this has been rebolted. It feels kind of loose on the bolt and does have Irish poplin scribbled on one end, so it's probably not that. But I wanna say it's probably, like it's a poly cotton blend, 65-35, maybe 50-50. But just look at it, it's so good. And you can see here, just like the drape, it's a little bit stiffer, but I do think that with a good wash or two, it'll soften right up. Am I tempted to keep that one? Yes, of course I am, but welcome to my channel. I want all the fabric and then I don't have time to use most of it. Anyway, this thing, look at this thing. Another really amazing, this one I think is also acrylic. Yes, this is another one of the acrylic ones I picked up. Again, really great drape, kind of knitted, but again, not the t-shirt material at all, but the brown and the harlequin and the floral, oh, it's just all so good. So this makes me think this is probably more of like a 60s print that she just couldn't get rid of, which is why they have the special stickers on them. But man alive, that is just amazing. This is another Splendora print as well. Last four. Oh wait, no, there's a spicy one at the end, but I had to wait till the end when most of the people aren't still here, so you're welcome. Who wants some bright neon watercolor stripes? Because my God. So this one is going to be a watercolor pink, neon yellow, orange, green, and purple. It definitely has the same feel as like the poly cottons. And you're looking, it says, wool. This has been rebolted. This is not wool. But, and you can hear it a little bit. It's definitely got that polyester slip to it, but man, it would still make an awesome dress. And I would say probably about 6 yards or so, maybe a little more on here. And next up we have, it's kind of like a little tulip print, but they looked like little hearts to me when I first picked them up. I know they're not, but they looked like it. But I just enjoyed like the overall print. This is more like a jacket weight or a pant weight. It's definitely a heavier, stiffer fabric. But I do enjoy that you can kind of see the weaving. I don't think it's a linen. I would be shocked if this was linen. But I do think there's some cotton in here. Definitely like a medium weight cotton here. But not like drape level, if you know what I mean. But I like all the bright coloring. It's got greens and reds and oranges and just overall really bright and happy. And I am not a Liberty of London person, so I don't think that's what this is. But it feels like that style of floral. It just kind of has the same vibe. I know this is not Liberty of London. I'm well aware of that. But it's just because also I don't think this has been rebolted. It's on an Elias J. Schwarzschild 100% combed cotton, which I do feel like this is, with a little bit of everglaze, which is that kind of, it would have made it a little bit shinier, which I can see here. There are some age spots, but like the nice mustards and blues of this floral are just so lovely. And on the white background, it's very crisp. And it's very lightweight. So this would be a great summer dress for those that are going into summer, because I do ship internationally. Absolutely. All right, now don't get mad at me. This next fabric is for a project that is upcoming for this Halloween. It is not going to remain pink. I know. It's blasphemy, but it needs to be done. You'll see what I mean when I do it, but you'll see. It just needs to be done. But the upside, there's a crap load of it, so I should be able to sell some of it. It's a really, truly gorgeous 1-bar dimity, pink, light florals, really nice. And what is awesome about this is you actually on the side here, not only do we have VIP here on the end, we have VIP still stamped on the selvage. So you know this is a Cranston VIP dimity from the 70s. So perfect cottagecore, like happy people that are light, and I'm gonna be the demon that dyes it black. You're welcome. Did I just lose subscribers? It's entirely possible. But that's why I saved it to the end, because then less people, well, anyway, you know, you're here. Hi, welcome. Anyway, I would say there's gotta be 10, 15 yards on here. I will only need at max 8. There'll be plenty for y'all to have and be pretty and pink and frillian, and I will not be that person. I'm going to dye it black, like my heart. On the end here it says Minuet, 54% cotton, 46% dimity cord. So the dimity might dye a little bit lighter, which would be fine. I think that'd be interesting, just so long as it doesn't stay pink. All right. If you are under the age of 18, I would advise you click off the video now because I have something that is not safe for work to show you. Hang on.
You get the idea.
So, just us adults now, right? Right? Everyone's older than 18? Okay, great. So if you saw my reaction to Haley's video and weren't quite sure what I was talking about, it's this. This ridiculous thing. And right there, yeah, it's bigger than both of us. Oh, y'all, I about died. Now, there's lots of other really amazing graphic prints, like your own thing. You can see a little lady here, a gentleman down here. I think I have 2 pieces that are a little over a yard each. They definitely have some aging to them. I will be popping them into some restoration, though, because I want those to be treated as well as they can be, because, man, they're just so funny. I have to treat them well. But that is, my God, the fabric haul. But wait, I promised you to tell you exactly how much I spent on this trip, and a promise is a promise. First up, the time it took. 2 days. Gas, 120 round trip. Hotel, points, courtesy of the pandemic. And cost of goods was $1,400. So if you've managed to make it all the way to the end of this video, do me a solid. Comment flower power down in the bottom so that I can know that you made it all the way to the spicy fabric. Ooh. And if you did enjoy this video, make sure you're clicking like, hitting subscribe so you can see the next part of the haul, which will probably be a live stream of me showing off the vintage patterns from the pattern cabinet, and possibly some notions, but my God, there's so many patterns, so I don't know if that's even possible. But I did get some notions in there, some for resale, mostly just for me to use in future projects. And in case you really want to know more about Miss Ruth and how I found all this fabric, make sure you're clicking on this video right here. I think that's the side it's going to be on. It might be over there. To go check out my original video about this amazing estate and her backstory. But until next time, stay spooky, friends. We'll see y'all next time. That's the wrong button. And I read the wrong end. The heat radiating off of my... The heat rating off... But most of the poly crepes... this is definitely a collie cotton. I'm going to do a lot of that. Because I fear that something terrible will happen and I will not have it on camera at all. I'm literally going to wall myself in with fabric at this point. I just put it on my dress. That's fantastic. Good job. I'll be vacuuming that tonight now, won't I? Now, for the moment, am I going to wrap it back on there? Yes, I am, because otherwise I will forget what these are when I'm taking B-roll. Doing all the B-roll for this is gonna suck. Don't make me clean, you bitch. Oh my God, right, the heavy ones were at the bottom, because I stacked this vaguely correctly. How am I gonna get to the fabric when I've literally buried myself? I made myself a fabric for it, now I can't get around my friggin' office. Not helpful. Go back on your bolt. This is terrifying. Oh boy. That's nerve-wracking. Oh shit. If it all comes falling down, I blame this linen right here. Actually, I blame myself, but you know. Same thing. How did I buy this and I didn't know it? Holy shit, it's terrifying. The linen at the bottom was a terrible idea. Oh God. Halloween blood! For the record, you're only really on in case this goes awry. Just in case you were curious. Oh no. I is concerned. Ugh, does not help when you are wrapped weirdly, you stupid thing. And holy crap, that's tall. Chair time. Oh God. This is a stupid idea. Oh my God. Oh God damn it. Oh my Lord, don't do that. The last one for the very top. She says very nervously. Okay. Now, you're gonna go in like that. Contact with the ceiling. Yes. Contact with the ceiling. Okay, great. Goal accomplished. Now we go put our face on.